Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Honda Talk podcast. My name is Matt Eugenio, and I'm joined with my co-host, Ian Wright. How's it going, Ian?
Oh, we're all good.
And we're here with a special guest, our internet brand colleague, Bradley Brownell. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. And you're here today to talk about the 2018 Honda Accord, which you attended a press event in New Hampshire, correct?
Indeed, yeah, it was New Hampshire. Beautiful. The weather was just changing, so we saw the leaves transition from green to red and yellow and orange. So yeah, it was a good time.
Oh man, must have been beautiful. So tell us about the Accord. What are your first impressions, or did you have any expectations going into it?
We need a hot take.
So going into it, I knew it would be a really important car for Honda because they sell so many of them, like 300,000 a year. So I knew that it was going to be important for them to present it in the best possible way. And I wanted to try to pick it apart as much as I could because I'm not going there to say, oh, this is a great car, whatever, that's fine. I wanted to figure out the details of the car and figure out what was bad about it. And really there wasn't that much bad about it. It's a pretty damn good car for the money.
That's great.
Accords have always been pretty good. It's a good commuter. A lot of people buy them because they're decent cars. And this new one, I think, is probably the better one. One of the better ones that they've made, for sure. In the morning, so I drove a number of different ones. I drove the Sport 2.0T 6-speed manual.
Okay.
And then I drove the Sport 1.5T 6-speed manual. And those are two different manual transmissions. The 1.5 is from the Civic Si, and the 2.0 is from the Type R.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so very cool. And then in the afternoon, I drove a 2.0 Touring, which is like the super luxe, highest level possible.
Throw everything at it version, isn't it?
Yeah. Like leather, everything, gorgeous interior, the whole deal. That one's like 34,000, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Actually, I still have the marketing materials right in front of me, so let me look that up real quick. We'll talk pricing first. So yeah, the base starts at 23.5, and the Touring is 35.8.
35.8. Okay.
Or a 2.0T Touring with a 10-speed automatic.
Okay.
And 10-speed, it's really good for a front-wheel drive automatic. It's
the first, isn't it? Isn't it the first on one that segment?
10 speeds for sure. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Because there's a couple other 10 speeds out there, but they're rear-wheel drive application. So
got it.
Yeah.
Honda's bringing it to the masses.
But yeah, for the most part, it's a damn good car. So what do you guys want to know about it?
I guess let's talk about looks. How do you like the exterior design of it?
I think it's
a lot of people are talking about that.
Yeah, I think it's an attractive car. It's got this, so there's only a couple of details that I didn't really care for. One, I don't like any of the wheel options. They're all like kind of turbine blade style wheels, and it just looks too busy. I've never been a fan of those. Yeah. Luckily, wheels can be changed. That's not a permanent thing, so you can buy an aftermarket set of wheels, and it'll look pretty good.
Absolutely.
There's this weird below the driver door, there's kind of like a undercut that flares out as it gets toward the back door.
Okay.
And it's like a styling thing that's supposed to make it look a little taller than it is, and it just looks kind of strange in my eye, especially up close. If you look at it, directly, it's a little weird. If you're looking at it just like from 10, 15 feet away, it just kind of blends in and it's just an accent line. But when you're looking at it up close, it just has some weird depth to it that just doesn't look quite right. And then toward the rear of the car, it looked like it had a little bit of cross tour to me, and I really didn't like the cross tour at all. So
I like the cross tour.
I do like what they've done with the design overall. They've lengthened the front. They've pushed the wheels further toward the extremities of the car, so it's got a longer wheelbase, but it's shorter overall length. And they've kind of given it like a coupe sort of sedan look, so it's got that sloped rear roof angle to it.
Yeah, I remember on when they unveiled it, the guy who was hosting the thing was saying that should satiate the coupe people that are going to miss the coupe now that's gone.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean,
does it look as good as a coupe would?
No, it doesn't. But I mean, what was the take rate on coupes? It couldn't have been more than.
It was like 5%.
No, it was. Yeah, it was very little.
So it doesn't really make that much sense to make that body style. I get it.
Yeah.
I get why they went sedan only because
Right.
Yeah.
It's already a tough market, so why make a body style specifically for 5-6% of the market? So,
and like you said, it's their important car. They're going to have to throw everything at it because the Camry, frankly, looks quite good now.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of a blunt nose to it, which is a little strange.
It does,
but I think you can get used to it. I think it's one of those cars that when it first introduces, you're like, it's a little weird or whatever, and then you see 500,000 of them on the road in the next couple of years, and you go, oh yeah, that's a normal car. That's what cars look like. They look like Accords. So yeah,
you just warm up to the design over time. Yeah.
I will say the headlight design I loved. The taillights were a little wonky, but not horrible. They're kind of that corporate Honda C-shaped thing that they're doing, where it's like flat on top and then it curves under, and it's it's all right. It's not anything to write home about, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on the taillight design. It didn't really catch my eye that much. I'm like, it could have been better, but oh well.
Kind of meh.
Right. Yeah.
Interior design is head and shoulders above anything in the segment, in my opinion.
Wow. Sweet.
I was going to ask if they stepped up their game there, because that seems to me like the logical place to start separating themselves now. It's always been good.
Yeah.
It's never been like Mazda,
It's so
Mazda. Yeah.
So much better than the 9th gen. Like way, way better.
Oh.
It's a little bit, some people might describe it as plain, because there's a little bit of areas where it's just kind of like nothing exciting is going on, but all of the buttons are in the right place. It's simple. It's easy to use. They have knobs again.
Yeah.
So tell me, Brad, about that volume knob. How did it feel?
It felt so good.
How was the level of resistance when you turn it? Just the clicks.
Just clicks. It clicks so perfectly, and it's got a knurled finish on it. An actual metal knurled knob.
Me like it.
I'm gonna write a 1,000-word review.
We're just gonna get one, and we're just gonna play with the knob for a little bit.
Yeah. One weird thing, and we were driving pre-production, so I don't know for sure that this is gonna make production, but the volume and the scroll knob were a slightly different color than the knobs for the HVAC.
That's weird.
That's curious.
Same design.
Yeah, pre-production.
That's pre-pro for sure.
I hope so. I hope so.
Let's cross our fingers, guys. That'd be really weird. I'm gonna like.
It was a very odd look to it, but yeah. But it like there was trim that matched both of the knobs, so I don't know if they were like it. It was just a little bit weird.
Yeah, maybe they're about to make the design choice.
Yeah, perhaps. But anyway.
All right, let's move on to powertrain. So Ian and I both love the outgoing J35 V6 engine. Do you think that for those who are in love with the V6, are we going to miss it driving, let's say, the higher 2.0 liter turbocharged engine?
I don't have a ton of experience with that V6. I've driven it like once or twice, but it was an automatic car and I didn't really get on it. So I don't have a ton of experience with that car. I will say the difference in the powertrain curves, the power curves of how the engines make power, the turbo, the 2-liter turbo comes on earlier than the V6, like the torque.
You're going to get more usable torque lower in the range, aren't you?
Yeah. And it's got more torque. So it's 273 pound-feet as compared to 252, I think, with the V6.
Yeah,
so it's got a little bit more torque, and it's available much earlier. You can have it like full torque is available at 1500 RPM. So it's right there, and
That's lovely.
And it's a tabletop all the way to 3700 or something like that. So you've got the power, and a lot of people say that they want horsepower, but what they really want is torque.
Yeah, absolutely.
Torque is what makes your drive easy and your acceleration fun.
It's your get up and go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's down a little bit on horsepower total to 250 something.
I think 253. 253, something like that. Yeah.
No, it's 270 something, isn't it? The V6, 272.
Oh yeah. I mean the 2-liter is
2-liter.
Yeah. All right, beg your pardon. The 3.5 liter is 278.
Yes,
I should know that off the top of my head. I've just been driving the Accord Coupe.
So the two figures between the two engines have basically flip flopped. So you've got more torque but less horsepower,
which is so unusual and going to be
it is a little
fun.
bit strange. Yeah. And I asked them what the difference was because this 2-liter is the same 2-liter that's in the Type R,
right?
And I asked them what the differences were between the 300 horsepower version and this 250 horsepower version, and they said, well, it's a smaller turbo so that the torque comes in earlier. Mm-hmm. So you move the power band further down because you're spooling up quicker, and they've changed some tune things. They didn't mention anything else, but I would suspect that maybe there's like a slightly smaller fuel injector, and intake might be a little bit different design. So I don't know for sure, but it is the same basic structure of the engine. So I'm sure with flash tune, you could probably get it back up to that 300.
I was gonna say, I just have to pay a visit to Hondata and just get a Flash Pro, and I'm gonna have a really big 4-door Type R.
Yeah.
So
Well, actually, I'm gonna run something by you guys in a minute. Hold that thought.
Okay. Okay. How did the smaller engine, the 1.5, feel? Did it feel like just a little under par for such a heavy car?
I think that for most people's use, 200 horsepower is going to be that sweet spot because it's got 192 or 194 or something like that. And I think that it's not really underpowered, but it's definitely not overpowered. It's still quick, and it'll still do decent speeds.
Right.
So it's in the band of acceptability.
Yeah, totally. For what people buy an Accord for, it's probably going to be, it's probably going to be the volume seller. You know?
Oh yeah.
Because
I drove
inexpensive.
Okay. Because I drove the 9th gen Sport with the manual.
With the 2.4? Yeah, I drove
the 2.4. It feels okay with just either me or a friend. But when I have it fully loaded with 5 people, it feels like it's running out of gas. Like it's huffing and puffing at that point.
Yeah. If you load it down, you're probably gonna. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, you add 4 people, you're talking 800 to 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
If they're me, then if you got 4 of me, you're not going anywhere. But
right, same here.
But
Okay.
yeah, so they've done tests back to back on the outgoing car and this 10th gen. I think it was Car and Driver or something like that. They did acceleration tests, and the two cars were basically identical. The 1.5 and the 2.4 were like same 0 to 60, same quarter mile time, and the 2.0 and the V6 were the same way. Like Honda benchmarked their old car and said, this is enough power. We just want better fuel economy. And that's what they got. So it's a little bit lighter. I think car to car, they're about 115, 120 pounds lighter.
Yeah, there's not much in it.
Yeah. It wouldn't make a huge difference. And the power levels are about the same, and the drivability is about the same. The acceleration is about the same. So I don't think that they were worried about making a bunch more power. They just wanted kind of, if you were used to the old Accord, here's one that's pretty similar, but it's better in almost every other way.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Okay.
I remember on the video they were talking about the A pillars, the front pillars on the window. They are the A's, aren't they?
Yes.
ABCs, yeah. And how they were 20% thinner and stronger and what have you. How was that visibility?
Visibility was great. So let me see. I actually have the full stat. They moved it back, I think it was 100 millimeters, which isn't really that much in the grand scheme of things. But it did provide a better field of view than the old car.
Which wasn't terrible.
Which wasn't terrible. Yeah, exactly.
No,
I don't have it immediately in front of me, but if I do find it, I'll bring it up. But visibility was great. Especially forward visibility was great. You sit a little bit lower in the cabin, and you sit.
I like that.
More like your legs are more extended than they are at a 90-degree angle.
Right.
So
less of a truck SUV like kind of feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that it was very much a sportier seating position, and it was a more comfortable seating position, I think, for a sedan. And the seats were fantastic. Honestly, I could sit in those seats all day long. They were great.
Yeah. The Honda Accord seats are generally always right on the money.
Yeah.
Like I said before,
Ian loves a good Honda Accord seat.
If I could fit the 2009 Accord coupe seats into my BMW, I would be the happiest man on earth.
Yeah.
We can do a little side project. We can do that.
Yeah.
I have a friend. We can make you custom seat brackets.
Brackets. Yeah.
Screw Recaros. I'm going with Hondas.
Hey, Recaros are nice, man. All right, Brad. How does the car handle?
I wasn't really pushing it. I guess per se, but we had it moving pretty good. I would. Competent is the right word for it. It's not gonna blow anybody away. It's not a track day car. It's not anything like that. But it's.
Would you enjoy it if you take the long way home?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think especially with the turbo, you'll be running through the gears a little more, and you'll probably be spending more time in boost. And boost is kind of addictive to me. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I wish companies would stop trying to hide the lag.
I know. Yeah, that was kind of my thought. Well, I've got a 95 Audi that I daily drive, a 2.2 liter turbo with the 20 valve i5.
Oh yes.
And that thing doesn't go anywhere until you're at like 3,000. And it's just like all of a sudden you're hit with this wave and you're shoved into the back of your seat and everything. So new cars, new turbo cars anyway, they try to act like a naturally aspirated engine. And this one definitely feels kind of like that. There's a little bit of lag from a standstill if you don't have it revved. But it's not bad.
Yeah. That's awesome. But I mean, a Cool's going to be a refined car, or the aim is to be a refined car anyway.
Yeah, definitely. In that vein, I would say that the Sport definitely felt like a Honda. The Touring,
that says so much already.
It really does.
Yeah,
it does.
I was trying to write the review last night for the called Coupe, like a goodbye review I'm doing. And I got to talking about the gearbox. How do you describe another good Honda manual shift?
Sure.
You can't. It's all been said before in so many different ways. Some bad, some well. It's like I've run out of words for this. That's how good, how consistently good they are at it.
Yeah. I will talk about that in just a second. But to finish that point, the Touring that I drove in the afternoon was so nice inside that both myself and my driving partner said, if this had an Acura badge on the steering wheel, I would believe it. 100% believe it.
Wow.
For the money, I mean, it's like $35,000 for that money. It's one of the nicest interiors that I have been in for that kind of. It felt very much like much more expensive cars that I've driven this year.
They're really blurring the line then.
Wow.
Totally.
Honda
Yes. Honda.
Interesting.
The high-end Hondas feel like Acuras for sure. And I've been on 2 Acura launches this year, and so it definitely felt very Acura-like.
Ooh, there's a couple of departments that must be like looking at each other across the room now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it had the Touring. It comes with ventilated leather seats with heating systems in them, and
are they like full leather, or are they using the term leather trimmed, which is basically plastic with bits of leather on it?
No, it's full leather.
Oh,
yeah, it's full leather. And the door cards are a little nicer. The dash is a little nicer. They use the only thing that fell down to me was it has this wood trim that's not real wood. Obviously it's not real wood.
Right.
But it's this plastic wood, and it looks fantastic until you touch it. And then it just feels like hollow plastic, and you're like, wow, that feels really cheap. It looks great. It feels really cheap.
I like a 2000 BMW. Like the old...
Yeah. But so back to the gearbox real quick. I just wanted to mention that the 1.5 gearbox felt slightly better, in my opinion, than the 2.0 gearbox. And I'm talking the manual here. Because the 1.5 uses the Civic Si gearbox and the 2.0 uses the Type R gearbox.
Yeah.
There's just something about the linkage that they did that's slightly different, and I'm sure that if I drove the car every day, I wouldn't have a problem. But when I tried to hurry it, the shift from second to third was so vague that I missed it like 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I confess I had that on this Accord Coupe.
Okay.
You're not the only one, but
when you're driving it like a normal person, it shifts fine. But when I was trying to, go a little harder than normal,
right,
I just missed that up into the right motion, and I just didn't quite get it and I got off the clutch and back to the throttle without being in the gear. So
then, right.
So do you think that's like a you thing, or is that a little mistake in the gearbox? Because Matt, you drove the SI, didn't you?
I did. I like the shifting feel, but like we talked about, it wasn't as mechanical feeling as like the Accord Coupe V6 or even my 2012 Civic. It just feels a little bit more plasticky in a sense. I didn't feel that kind of heavier connection when I'm rolling through the gears. But I'm very curious to see how this Accord feels, and I haven't driven the Type R yet too.
I think one of the main differences is that they tried to. It feels like the shift lever itself is longer because they're trying to give you a more like refined, move through the gearbox.
Okay.
It's a sedan, it's an adult sedan. It's supposed to feel, I don't know, smooth and comfortable and stuff. And it doesn't have the sporty short shift of a Type R or an SI. Right. So I think maybe it's just incongruous, and I'm trying to use it in a way that it wasn't designed to be used, which is entirely possible. It's just, and like I said, I'm sure if I were to own the car and drive it every day, I would get used to it and I would never miss a shift. But just being with the car for 3 hours in the morning, it was a little bit off-putting.
Okay. Yeah. Don't say that, Brad. You can smash on Accords all day. They're designed like that. It's fine.
Well, totally. It's just, like I said, it's not like my mentality with the car isn't in tune with having driven it for a week or two or whatever. Right. It's just, I'm only in the car for a little while, so when I'm trying to smash on it, it doesn't react the way that I want it to. So,
okay.
I guess that'll come out in the wash once the cars start coming out. And
and again, it was a pre-production car, so maybe they'll change some things around there as well. I'm pretty sure it's close to production, but they said, there are a few things that will change when it gets to the dealership.
Okay.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
I want to drive one so bad right now.
It's honestly, I could see it being a very, very good daily driver. My problem was I was in the boost way too much, and I kept just like running up and my fuel economy suffered as a result. A lot.
Yeah. I'm sure you get over that after a few days once you start to pay for the fuel yourself.
Yeah. Right.
I am due for a new daily driver in like a year or two, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think that the bargains of the. I was talking to Jake Stumpf about this while I was on the trip, and he's like, "Well, because pricing hadn't been announced, and now that the embargo is up, I can actually tell you guys. The Sport 1.5T is $25,780, which is right about in line with a Civic Si, isn't it?
Yeah, Civic Si right now it's 24,1.
Okay,
just announced price. Yeah,
you're basically just getting a slightly bigger.
Right.
I mean, that you don't get the suspension tuning and things like that, but
I think your alternative as well is like a well-loaded Civic. If you didn't want to go down the sportier route.
Yeah, sure. And then the 2.0T Sport is $30,310, and it's slightly better equipped.
That's pretty attractive.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Range. Yeah,
that's what I thought. Especially with that 2-liter, you're basically getting, it's not really a Type R light, but in a way it kind of is. And the Type R is what, 36? I think
34 something MSRP.
Okay.
But,
okay. Yeah, if you can find it at MSRP.
If you yes.
Yeah. The 1.5T Sport is a little bit less equipped with that price. There were a few things that I found that were felt a little cheaper. For example, it doesn't have a trunk button on the trunk.
Okay. So you can only open it from inside or with a key fob.
Did it have the keyless entry, so you had the little button on the door handle?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
I mean, it has keyless entry. Yes, but
because my daughter found the opening for the trunk on the 2017 because I couldn't find anything, and it was actually in the brake light.
Well,
there's a tiny little button. That might be what's there.
Well, there is an actual button, like a grip button on the 2.0T. Right. But the 1.5, it's just a block-off plate.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
So, but there's a button. There's a button inside the car on the driver door, and then there's a button on the key fob.
Key fob. Got it.
But if you're just standing behind the car, there's no open for it. So there's just a little strange things like that. Like they've cut corners a few places on the 1.5 that they didn't on the 2.0. So,
okay.
But the standard stuff, even on the LX, like there's a huge list of standard stuff that's like, this is luxury car shit. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know if I can swear on this, but
no, you're good. Shit is okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
We're trying not to swear on this one, but it's getting through on both hand drive. It's just the only word I bleep on that is Trump.
Ah. Smart.
And I'm going to bleep it there as well, so no one's going to know what the hell we're laughing at.
Anyway,
inside joke.
So, yeah, but there's a bunch of stuff that comes standard. Honda Sensing is standard on all Accords.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Yeah.
So you get the.
Is it like boys? Is it?
I
really enjoyed driving without the sensing package, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you can turn it off.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean the fact that it comes
99% of people, the sensing package is going to be. I mean, and the other thing is when you're on the freeways and what have you, knowing that other people around you have a sensing package, I like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So if they add another 300,000 cars this year that have Honda Sensing, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Scratch what I just said.
But it is nice to have the traffic sign recognition. So like it'll see the speed limit and it'll pull it in and put it on your dashboard. So you know.
I do like that feature.
Even if you haven't seen a sign in a while, it'll tell you what the last sign was. So I
want that so bad because the signs around here are terrible, and I have no idea at any given point what the speed limit is, officer. And you don't want to say that to a policeman. I don't know what the speed limit is, so you just admit to.
Right.
I think it was 45. I don't know.
The dash, the tachometer side of the dash is digital, so you can swap that around to show. It's like an onboard computer. It'll show you your fuel mileage. It'll show you your tire pressures and all that kind of stuff, or it'll just show you a regular mechanical looking tach, and that's fine too.
Okay.
Let's see.
So all of that stuff, does it feel what's the word I'm looking for, like messy, like always in your face, or is it nice and toned down so that it's not going to distract you?
No, I don't think it's distracting at all. I think that most cars kind of have that now, and it's the Honda system is much simpler to use than any system I've used before because it's just a little scroll wheel, and you push down on the scroll wheel to select, and you scroll up and down to scroll through your menus, and it's pretty simple. It'll show you what your music is, and you can change channels based on your steering wheel, completely on your steering wheel. You don't even have to touch the center stack at all. But if you do touch the center stack,
so much.
The center stack, every Accord has an 8-inch screen, no matter what. They're all the same screen. It's a huge, crystal clear, gorgeous screen with really fast reactions. It's a touch screen. And it slides and it zooms and it does all of that stuff. It's really simple. They all have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is really nice. The lower trim cars, like the 1.5T, the LX, and the Sport don't even have availability of XM or XM Sirius, which is kind of annoying.
Is it? I've never used Sirius. I must admit, I've had a couple of cars with it in them to drive and just never bothered.
I don't use it anyway. Yeah.
I was too busy listening to Camden Tubbed. That's Brad's podcast. We really should drop
shameless plug. We'll plug it. We don't care.
Yeah. I'll give plenty of plugs at the end, I'm sure. But
let's catch them mid-time. Camden Tubbed. It's Brad's podcast with Cameron Vanderhorst.
Yes, thank you.
And it's awesome.
Thank you. And support us on Patreon. Anyway,
there you
go. Yeah. So let's see what else. I think the EX and the Sport 2.0 did not have nav, which if you have Apple CarPlay, you don't really need nav.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we did use the nav in the Touring, and it was just kind of, it's nav that manufacturers make, so it's not as good as Google Maps or yeah. So you don't really need it. So no matter what you have, the screen is there. You've got a gorgeous display, and there's buttons on the side that are like hotkey buttons, like the buttons that you would normally press most often.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to look at a touch screen. You actually have a tactile, clicky kind of button that you can touch while you're driving and know where it is, and it's simple.
Nice.
Honda's been listening.
Totally.
That.
The only thing that would be better is if they went back to a key that goes in the dash and turns to start the ignition. That's all I want.
No.
Oh, come on.
You're wrong.
You actually want?
You're wrong.
You don't like push button start?
I hate push button start.
Oh, it's my favorite thing in the world.
Do you know how many times I've forgotten a key in the car? It happens every time I drive a car with push button.
Your key doesn't need to leave your pocket.
It happened to me a first few times.
I'm a hipster and I wear tight pants. I don't want that fob in my pocket.
Well, grow up and buy a pair of dad jeans.
I like your style, Brad, but you got to get in with the times.
Get with the times.
Look it on your belt.
No, it needs to be like a Fitbit. It needs to be a watch. That's what we need.
Do you know I would be down with that.
That'd be tight. Hell yeah.
Because then you're never without your key.
There you go.
Is it Jaguar we're talking about doing something like that?
Land Rover has one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But it doesn't start the car. It allows you to lock and unlock the car for like if you're going surfing.
Oh, that's right.
Then you can put the band on and then leave your keys in the car and lock the car. And then when you come back, you have your band. You can open the car.
It's probably like a $600 option as well.
It's a stupidly expensive option. But I drove the Discovery that had that, and they had us test it out, and I was like, yeah, it works exactly like you told me it does. Okay.
Nice.
# neat.
With 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Totally. So what else do we want to know about the Accord? There's a hybrid coming next year.
Yeah, and we're hoping it's going to be better than the current hybrid.
Basically the same. It's a 2-liter. What do they call that? Atkinson cycle.
Atkinson, yeah.
The main difference is they've made the control unit and the battery stack are slightly smaller than the outgoing car, and they do not take up trunk space. So if you let's see, so it's a 16.7 cubic foot cargo volume, whether you have the hybrid or the non-hybrid. So it doesn't
spacious.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. That trunk is massive. I could fit in that trunk.
Sweet. Bradley approved.
Yeah, and I am a large person, so leave that. Here's an interesting fact. Did you know that if Accord was its own brand, like if Honda spun off Accord as its own brand, they would sell more cars in the United States than Dodge?
Oh, shit.
Jesus. I'll bet you whoever figured that one out was sat there and went, yes, I've got a good one.
Yeah. And the other one that they really love saying is for 41 years, they have sold an Accord every 2 minutes on average.
That's insane.
For 41 years, they've sold an Accord every 2 minutes. So Yeah. Huge seller for them. And of course they sell more Civics than they do Accords. And they sell more CRVs than they do either one of them. So
that's even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
oh man.
So let me put an idea by you guys. I was thinking about this the other day when I was driving the CRV. The crossover has become ubiquitous now. It's everywhere, and it's probably part of the reason why the Accord Coupe has gone away, because the margins are, the edge cases are hard to justify with the sedans having a coupe version. But we tend to go in quite big cycles. So first off, it was the station wagon. Then the people that grew up in the back of station wagons didn't want the same car mum and dad did. It was seen as old and what have you. So, and then the minivan came along. So the mums and the dads were all buying the minivans. Now, those people that grew up in minivans really don't want a minivan because that's what mum and dad drove.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Uh-huh.
So now we're in the era of the crossover SUV.
Yeah.
So at some point, I think we're going to go back to station wagons.
I hope so.
I think so. Now,
boy, I really hate crossovers.
I know, and let's not talk about it because we will argue.
I mean, as journalists, we do love wagons for whatever reason. They're awesome.
I don't particularly like wagons, but all right.
Well, you suck, Ken. But
so hear me out on this. So I was thinking, if Honda wanted to get out ahead of the game, they've got some ingredients. They've got the R-Type Civic. They've got the new Accord platform. And the new Accord platform is basically using the same layout, almost the same engine, which means that you could probably just put an R-Type engine in there.
Yes. And I've made that argument that we need an Accord SI.
I think we need an Accord R-Type wagon. Drop the Accord for it and just call it the R-Type wagon. Because Audi, Mercedes, all of those, they're not like the good wagons are in Europe.
Yeah.
They're not doing them here.
Yeah.
I think if Honda, I think there's a possibility that if Honda were to do an R-Type wagon at, not look to make a profit, use it as a halo car and put it out there, I wonder if that might be the spark that starts off the comeback of the wagon.
If it had all-wheel drive, I say yes.
Why all-wheel drive? Why not rear?
Rear?
Honda would never do that.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I think all-wheel drive. Okay. Yeah, you make sense.
I think with 300-ish horsepower, all-wheel drive, and a full size or a mid-size wagon, that would be a seller. Even at, I bet they could get 40-ish for that, and it would still sell. Yeah.
Because you'd have all those people buying it because their neighbours have got the crossover, but they've got all the practicality and their car's as fast as hell as well.
Yeah.
And I really do think that, I don't think it's going to be necessarily the next year or the year after, but I think after that we'll start seeing the station wagon make a comeback.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that, but yeah, so to that point, I think that because they have the Type R engine that makes 300 horsepower, they could just as easily put that turbo and those injectors and that tune in an Accord and have an Accord SI that they could sell mountains of for 33, 34, about the same price as your touring, but with less luxury, just more power. I think they could move that pretty well.
Brad, I'm just gonna build that. So my next daily driver is gonna be the 2-liter Sport 6-speed. I'm gonna put all the injectors, the tune, the same turbo, and I'm gonna call it the Accord SI.
Yeah,
R.
Accord SI.
SIR.
SIR.
There you go.
Just JDM style.
Yeah.
The crossover. That would be the crossover. There you go.
It would be.
So I wrote a little recipe of what would make an Accord 2OT 6-speed manual, like the greatest sports sedan ever. It needs different wheels and tires, stickier tires.
I'm actually with you on the wheels. I'm not a huge fan of their current design language for wheels.
They're not great.
They're not great. So short throw shifter, or basically just the shifter from the Type R. I'm sure those parts just bolt in. They would have to.
I'm sure. It's a different part number for sure.
Have you basically designed the Type R Brad Sport?
Yes. Short throw shifter, lowering springs, wheels and tires, and a tune. And it's great. Actually, I would probably do brake pad too.
Backseat delete.
No. In a sedan, come on, that's silly.
Yeah. I would do the same thing, but just get coilovers.
I don't think you need coilovers. I really don't. And it's adaptive damping, so you would lose that.
Oh, okay. Right.
So I think just it doesn't need a lot. Maybe just like 1 inch, like H&R Sport springs to lower it just a little bit, and keep the wheels at a 18 or a 19 or whatever. They don't need to be huge or anything. Just like a sportier design.
Right.
Could they drop to a 17?
I'm sure they could. The brakes
those are big wheel wells. The wheel.
Yeah. It might
That's
look
the
a bit
problem.
silly.
Is it would look a little weird.
It look weird. The wheel wells are huge. Yeah, Accord SIR sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Is we've found Matt's new car.
Yeah.
There we go.
The new definition of crossover. I like it.
Yeah.
And then I need to put like a little sticker that says Brad Sport.
I actually designed you a logo, didn't I, Brad?
Yeah, I think so. Man, it's been a while, but yeah, I think you did.
I meant to get some stickers made up of it to send to you, but just never got around to it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's cool.
That's great. Pretty stoked about this car. Gonna be seeing a whole mess. Gonna be seeing a whole mess of them soon. So
yeah, and I hope that people order
all over.
I hope that people order the manuals because even if it's a little bit off, it's better than the alternative. I really love that Honda still offers a manual in their midsize sedan like that. Well, I mean it's their biggest sedan, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, well, Honda's always been pretty good. I mean, they held on for with the coupe for so long because they wanted a driver's version,
right?
And holding on to the manual. I mean, they've said before we want to keep it as long as possible because we want to offer fun.
Yeah, right. And I mean, as long as they have the manual for the Type R, it makes sense that they can just transfer it from one to the other, I guess. But at the same time, it's rare and it's hard to find in the market these days. Basically, in this class, you've got the Mazda 6 and the Accord, and that's it.
Yeah, the Camry hasn't even bothered. I mean, the Camry didn't even have a coupe. They had like one generation with the coupe in like I want to say
way back when.
Yeah, mid 80s, maybe early 90s.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, they had the Solara. That was a Camry.
It was basically yeah.
That was in the mid 2000s.
Oh, maybe Honda should bring back the aero deck. The shooting brake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
They should bring that one out in a brown color, and they should call the color jalopnik brown.
Yes. Correct. And they'll sell none of them. Everyone will go wild for them, and they'll sell none of them.
One jalopnik commenter will buy it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
I actually do quite like jalopnik. I know there's a lot of hate for it, but I still enjoy jalopnik.
I'm a big fan of jalopnik right now.
Oh, you on board, are you?
Yeah, I wonder why. So I wanted to talk to you about that. So Radwood 2.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Radwood 2.
Oh my God, I'm so slow.
Yes.
Radwood 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So explain that to people, because that will be of interest. Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of suitable cars.
I'd love to see some suitable Hondas of the era come. So, yeah, get that out to all your listeners.
Absolutely, and I will
tell
be
us
bringing
about
one.
it. Give us the rundown.
Yeah, so Radwood is a car show that some friends of mine and I put together. We ran the first one in the San Francisco Bay Area back in June, and it was a smash hit, both in terms of people actually showing up and then people who didn't show up and didn't know about it afterwards saw all the photos on Instagram and saw the reports on all of the...
There were some really nice articles written as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's blown up since then. People showed more interest, and we were all kind of sitting around chatting one day, and we were like, what if we did a second one this year? And we all kind of looked at each other and were like,
why not?
That's just crazy enough. It might actually work. So
there's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance.
Yeah. So literally 6 months after the first one, we're doing our second one, and we have it's 2 months from now. It's December 2nd in Anaheim, California, which is the same weekend as
on my doorstep.
Start of the LA Auto Show for
the public.
For a public show, for the plebes.
Yes.
I'm going to Radwood. Fuck the auto show.
Yeah, well, go to both. That's the thing.
No.
All right. So yeah, it should be a good show. We've already got like 50 people signed up, so we're expecting at least 400. It's a huge venue, so bring all your friends. We'll take 1,000 if we can get it.
Sweet.
But there is a dress code, isn't there?
There is
a car dress code.
Yes. So the cars have to be, and I've kind of been a little bit widening this a bit, but so any car that was built between January 1st of 1980 and December 31st of 1999 is eligible. Automatically eligible.
It's the best era.
Yeah, the best era.
So we might be rolling up in one of yours then, Matt.
I will allow early cars built earlier that are modified in a very era-specific way.
What about later? What about a 2001 BMW with, say, Underglow?
So I will allow continuation models.
Okay.
So if the car was built in 99 and they continued building it through, 2001, 2003, whatever, I'll allow those as well. So the example that I usually give is Lotus Esprit. They ran that till 2005, I think.
Yeah.
Still had pop-up headlights, still looked exactly the same as it did in 99.
Right.
That's fine. If you have an 04 Lotus Esprit, bring it on. We're excited about it. It's cool.
E46, 1998 to 2006.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's fine.
I'll run in Matt's. I don't want to push the boundaries, mate. I'll come up with Matt.
I mean, you're not going to get a trophy anyway, so whatever. That's cool.
Oh, God, no. If I got a trophy, I'd have to hit someone over the head with it to give it to me.
So, and then on top of that, the overarching theme of the event is celebrating everything about the culture of that era as well.
Oh yeah.
So we want to have, we're going to have like video games. We're going to have BMX, flatland BMX people. We're going to have like breakdancing competition. The music.
So cool.
Music from the era. We're going to have a DJ that's playing only 80s and 90s music. And then the big one that always gets people is, just like that other wood across the pond.
The good one.
The good one. Not the rad one, the good one. We're like Goodwood, but we're more rad. We encourage period dress.
Yes.
So bust out your Michael Jackson jackets with all them zippers.
Oh, yeah.
Break out your like 1980s Wall Street with the suspenders and the tie and the suit and everything. Do that.
Oh yeah.
You could be Valley Girl. You could be grunge. Early '90s grunge. You could do all kinds of stuff. So
I'm just about old enough that, yeah,
it's just at the back of your closet. You can just find something.
I could dig deep.
So yeah, bring it on. Have a lot of fun, and yeah, it'll be good. We'll have food there. We'll have entertainment. We'll have cars. We're doing like photo contests, and people will get trophies for best dressed and best period accessory, best stereo, best set of wheels.
Oh, nice.
All that kind of stuff. So if you've got like an 80s hot rod on a set of Boyd Coddingtons, you might get best wheels. You never know. So bring it on out. We do want motorcycles. So if you have any Honda motorcycle fans, tell them to bring them as well. It's
sure.
$10 to be a spectator. It's $15 to bring a motorcycle. It's $25 to bring a car. And then we have something called Radwood Royalty, which is you get premium parking, you get a T-shirt, and an entry, obviously. So
how much is that?
That's $50.
It's 50.
Yeah, which is basically the cost of a T-shirt and the cost of entry.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
But you get premium parking.
Sweet.
So,
did any Honda owners sign up yet?
Yeah, totally. We actually have a Radwood Royal. I think we have 2 Royals. One of them is one of the cleanest. I think it's an 87. It's the late headlight CRX SI. It's like
nice,
minty, low mile, gorgeous car.
That's royalty right there.
Yeah, totally. And then I'm going to park it right next to a 95, I think it was, NSX. So,
hello.
Yeah. So there's a few. I think we have some. There's actually I want to say it was a 2nd gen Prelude. With like 600,000 miles on it. And
wow.
I think there was somebody with an Acura Vigor.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
cool.
yeah. Anyway, there's a ton of Hondas coming. We want a ton more. Bring them on out. We didn't have enough Japanese cars in the last one. So, we had a ton, but we want more. We had, at the last show, we had a ton of Porsches because, those are the kinds of people that we hang out with.
Captain dubbed, yeah.
Yeah, we're Porsche folks. Yes. There was a ton of 944s, 928s, stuff like that. But we didn't have really that many Hondas. I think we had a couple. So I am excited to see that there's more coming this time. And I want to see more. So, yeah, bring it on.
Cool.
And bikes. I want to see bikes. We didn't have any bikes at the last show. I want to see 80s and 90s bikes. Like, there's nothing more quintessentially 80s than a super bike of the era with crazy stripe packages and
the
purple fairings and all kinds of cool stuff. So
hell yeah.
So is Cam coming down for it?
He is. Yeah, he's going to fly in. We haven't decided where he's going to fly into, whether he's going to fly to my house and then drive down with us, but we'll see. I think it depends on how much vacation time he has left. So,
day job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to make a weekend, kind of 4 or 5 days out of it. My wife and I were going to go to Disney, which is in Anaheim. It's right there. And then we're going to go to the LA Auto Show on Friday because that's the first opening day. And then Saturday is Radwood, and Sunday we're driving home. So a long weekend of really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a well-filled weekend.
Yeah.
Super rad weekend, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
that's terrific.
Yeah.
So we should probably wrap up on that note. We don't want to keep you too long, Brad.
That's quite all right.
And so where can people find you?
Where can't they find me? So my social media, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at TurboBrad, and that's TurbohBrad. I'm on Twitter at BC Brownell, BCBROWNELL. And I write for The Drive. I do Porsche stuff over there.
That's Fly Sixes?
No, that's the site I used to write for. The Drive is thedrive.com/flat-6-society. That's a terrible name. I didn't come up with it. Go there anyway. I also write for Internet Brands with these folks, these lovely folks here.
Yes.
And I freelance. I've got some stuff on Jalopnik, European Car Mag. I was on the cover of Auto Week recently.
Hey.
Yes.
So yeah, follow me on Instagram, and I'll point you to where I want you to see. So all of the good stuff goes on my Instagram. You'll see it there.
All right.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. And you can find us on Twitter. We're Honda Talk Pod.
So then on Honda Talk Pod, and then Instagram, we're Honda Talk. And then we have a Facebook page as well. You can find Honda Talk on there as well. Like, comment, subscribe, listen to us talk about all things Hondas.
Nice.
Because that's what we do now.
Yes.
It's all good.
That is it.
I never know how to close these out. So let's just say goodbye. So goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.